Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm a healer and I live in Indiana in America, and I've always lived here. And I'm a romantic, like Huda, my romantic is way up high, and then a maverick, and then a connector.
So what was your first reaction, either to the name or to the description of hearing that you were a romantic? Or was it just one of those things where you went, oh my God, that is totally me?
No, it kind of felt like, oh, that explains, like, because I've been called, I'm sure most people can relate to this. I've been called spoiled and, like those kind of things a lot. And, when I was younger and that kind of thing. So it kind of like, it, when I first read it, I was a little like, oh no, like it kind of, I saw it kind of like in a negative light. But then as I started to like look into it more, then I was like, oh, okay, I could, that is me. And it kind of helped me like settle into that instead of trying to change that part of me and like expand upon it versus trying to get rid of it.
So the next question I want to ask you is, have you always been like this? Okay, so I'll just type it in here as well. Think about your childhood and being a baby romantic. That's what I'm putting there. So I want to hear, and we started with Jenny last time, so we'll start with Katie for this time. Think about you as a kid. Were you teased for wanting what you wanted? Did your family have a nickname for you? Someone was saying at the start about being called spoiled. What were some of the signs that you were a romantic even from a really young age?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, as a child, I was always like, I had no concept of saving money or money not being there. Like my parents were probably, if I had to guess, they were accumulators really high up, and they saved all their money. But I just never, like, if I wanted something, then it was inevitable that it would come to me and I would have it eventually. Or like eventually, like the money would just come. Like saving money to get something was just not even like in my realm of possibility. That seems so like ridiculous and like wasting time. And I, like as a kid, I had it's very like the shortcut part of the romantic is definitely, there was like a point when I was in school when I realized like school lasts for 6 hours, but if I was homeschooled, I could get it all done. And so I convinced my mom to homeschool me so I could just truck through school and get rid of it. And, because I was just sitting there like learning stuff slowly, and I wanted to move on with my life. And so I was, I did that. And even like, I remember like right when I, got out of high school, then I became like a manager at my job and I was making really good money, and I would just sit and write down like everything I could spend my money on. And at the end, there would be like money left over. And I was always like, wow, what do I spend this money on? Like, it just never occurred to me to save it or, do anything with it besides spend it. And, like it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I like quality, so I always have been like that. And everything has to be beautiful. Like, I just like, it stresses me out even as a kid when things weren't beautiful. They had to be like, my room had to be in order and everything exactly the way it was supposed to be. So it was beautiful. And even now, like, I have 6 kids, but in my office, it's like, you can go in there, but don't take anything out of place. Like everything has to look beautiful. Like I just like when I cook, like I serve it beautifully. I like, even, as a kid, I just always wanted everything to be visually beautiful. I wanted like, I'd walk through the stores and touch everything to see how it felt. And if it feels right, then it was like, oh, now it comes home with me. And, like it just everything was just very, even as a kid, it all had to be just, very beautiful. And I've always been that way. And when I got married, the first time when I was really young, I was 18, my husband was always like, oh, you're so spoiled. And like, I didn't even know, like, spoiled from what? Like, this is just how life should be. What do you mean? You're so chintzy. Like he was the kind of person who would like dig stuff out of the trash and be like, yeah, I found something for free. And it's like, what? Like even really young, I was like, why would you dig stuff out of the trash when you could go to the store and pick out exactly what you want and then be happy about it? And so, yeah, I just have always been that way, even as a little kid.
So now I want to go, and we're going to start with Tennille for this one. I want to go to your businesses and how your romantic is showing up in your business. And I want to do sabotages first. Where is it sabotaging your income or, your enjoyment of your business, or where is it kind of clashing? So a couple of examples could be the procrastination thing of just never feeling like it's the right timing, or you can't be bothered, or if things get a little bit hard, maybe you ditch them. It could be around team. So, you could get really enthusiastic about a project, but not necessarily give all the information to your team, or you just haven't got around to team. It could come up in your pricing. So Stacey, especially when you talk, like, were you able to make sure you were pricing appropriately for all of the quality materials that you put in? Is it showing up in the type of clients that you're attracting? Or, especially think back to before you did SMA. So it might not be now, it might be, at the start of your business, little things that you saw were kind of sabotaging you from making money.
I'd say for me, like, the biggest thing is I just like kind of I don't want to be bothered. Like, I'm afraid to get like stuck in something. So like, it's like, oh, well, I get clients, but what if I get stuck with them? Or what if like, I have to spend like too much time and then I get bored, like, or, even I think with like systems, like it all seems really complicated. And once something's complicated in my mind, then it's like, oh, never mind. I'm not even gonna mess with it. It's too complicated. And let's see. With teams, I haven't even thought of that a whole lot. With marketing, I really struggle with marketing a lot because it feels overwhelming because, marketing feels like a long process to me. And, people say, oh, people have to see your thing this many times and they have to do this. And then it's like, what if I can't keep up with that? And so if I get overwhelmed, then I think that is my biggest, like, sabotaging thing is I don't want to be stuck in anything. I don't like to feel imprisoned by anything. So like that, SMA really helped me with that. Like, okay, well then just create your business differently. You don't have to do a year-long container or anything like that. And, that really helps. So I think that's my biggest sabotage. And also being willing to invest in things, but not myself. So I'm like myself, like courses and things like that, but not like teams and systems and things that, would actually make the business grow and be more profitable. That feels overwhelming. So I don't invest in that, but like doing emotional work or like, those are all like beautification things for me. So it feels like, to make my environment, my energy better, then I'm happy to invest in that versus like seeing that like having systems and teams would actually make my business more efficient and that kind of thing. So I think that's probably my two biggest sabotages that I can think of.
Just your final thoughts of like, what did you tweak and change in your business after taking SMA and knowing that you're a romantic, having the permission for things to be easy? Did you change things? Did you change who you worked with? Did you change your prices? Did you change your business model? Did you quit things and let things go? Were you able to, create stuff that makes it flow for you as a romantic? So,
yeah, I think that SMA was kind of like a permission slip to be myself. I felt like when I took it and go back through it quite frequently. But yeah, so I just, I had like all of this information. Everybody talks like I just got stuck with that too. And like, basically was like, oh, I don't even want to run a business. This is too much. And, like all this complicated, like sales calls and all this stuff that just felt so not me and gross. It just kind of like going through SMA was just like, oh, I don't I don't have to do that. That's somebody else's way of doing things. And it's not authentic to me. I'm not going to get on the phone and like push something on somebody. It's just not even me. So it just kind of gave me permission to just kind of move into like things that are more like courses and maybe some one-on-one where it's like just a couple sessions, or even like my favorite is doing like texting sessions with people, because I can do healing over texting, and that's just like giving myself the permission to do things that are fun. Actually just it lights me up, so then I'm actually better at what I'm doing. And people my clients are busy, so having someone you can just text to do a healing session or clear energy is ideal. And so like realizing, okay, well, that's just the type of people that I want to work with. People who like efficiency. I like efficiency, it works, versus like just that dreaded feeling that I had before of like, oh, I have to work with people who are going to be like, oh, here's all the terrible things that happened to me, let's sit and talk about them. And where like, even though I'm a healer, my focus is always like what can be, like, oh, but look at all the possibilities once we clear all this energy, look at where we could go. And so like to sit and talk about all the bad things and just hash over them is where I thought I had to be. So then going through SMA helped me see like I could just hone in on like, this is who I am, so I'll just attract people who want to like be efficient. And like, okay, well, let's clear up all this past trauma so I can be happy and live a beautiful life. And so it kind of just gave me that permission to have those type of clients and make my life more easier, but just more in flow. So I was actually better at what I was doing because I wasn't dreading it. So
I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your ideas and your generous sharing with each other. So, are you a ruler, a connector, or a maverick? Hang on, maybe you're more of a romantic or a celebrity. Take the money personality quiz right now and find out which of the 8 money archetypes you are. And then I'm going to teach you how to profit from your strengths and make money in your business based on your natural personality. Click below and find out more.